Okay, I think, yeah, we're live as usual. Nice. Hello, everyone. Hello, Alex, Batuan. Who else we have? Daniel, welcome. Uh, Chris, I'm just gonna go Chris. Yeah. Levant, Mariana, good to see a lot of people here. Awesome. So we have a lot of content for this workshop. I'm gonna be calling it a workshop webinar. Because we'll give you some tips, best practices, everything that you guys have been requesting and asking for, and plus with a real life demo of user guiding. So just to kick things off, as per usual, a little fun poll here. Yes, we got love seeing the number increase for the number of attendance here. Let's go. So the first question is, what's your biggest goal for Q4, right? When it comes to campaigns specifically. So is it like increase user engagement, announcements, drive conversions, and upselling? Maybe there's some little bundles, having campaigns. You want to strengthen the retention for the upcoming year, or maybe it's gathering insights as well. Just to get started and plan for the next year. Awesome. While we keep that going, let me do a quick introduction of myself. Let's remove this here for a little bit. My name is Jude. It's great to have everyone here. So yeah, we're getting close to the end of the year. So this means, campaign season. It's time to start planning out how you want to do your campaigns, what kind of campaigns you want to have, and of course, making the best out of it before 2026 rolls in. So for the next 45 minutes, I'll be showing you why Q4 is crucial for like SaaS and SaaS companies, platforms, and how you can prepare for your campaigns by using the user guiding tools that we'll be building here live together. Little intro here, and of course we got Santa, and just wondering how's everyone's year going so far as well. Like, it feels like it went by pretty fast and that winter really crept up. So, yeah, you can, talk a little bit in the chat, drop in your questions, some insights, let me know where you guys are speaking from. And one thing also I'm curious about is how many product people do we have here today? So if you're a product manager or even like product marketing manager or any other job titles, I'd be very interested and curious to know. So this way, we'll keep giving you the content that is more relevant to your job title and your responsibilities. So we can get started. All right, so let's set the scene. So Q4, as I said, like it's one of the busiest times for every SaaS company, and it's when your users start thinking about making renewal decisions or exploring new features and planning their budget for the next year. So if your product communication is strong during this period, you're not only increasing that engagement, but also reinforcing your value for the upcoming year, for 2026, and before it begins, right? So you'll have a head start in the beginning of the year. And from now, we just started November, right? So we still have another 2 months, 2 whole months to get your campaigns up and running in the most efficient and effective way. But of course, right, it is chaotic. Q4 is chaotic for a lot of people. A lot of people are on holidays, but then also a lot of people need to like finish up their, their goals, their metrics. So when it comes to, either B2B or B2C, everyone's inboxes is flooded with like promotions and end of year updates. And also on the other hand, you might have some support teams that are very busy and your users might be distracted, and some key announcements, they can easily get lost in that mix. So, you can't just rely on that traditional just emails. It's not good enough anymore. So you would need to reach out to your users inside your product as well and find new channels, the most effective channels for that. And this is where user guiding shines, right? So what we help you with is you can reach your users where they already are, which is basically on your application. That's where you have your users' attention, and that is the most valuable communication channel that you have, right? And you need to really like make that count, depending on what kind of announcements, campaigns, and updates you want to achieve. You can also, decrease that email dependency, as I mentioned, because everyone's inbox is going to be flooded with a lot of like campaigns and announcements and all these things. So everyone's sending marketing emails, and you don't want your content to be lost in that mix. So just to make sure that your users are actually seeing the content that you want them to see, you can reduce that email dependency and use different channels, which is like, of course, in-app communications, or even having a separate product updates page, which is what we call, like, it would be that single channel of single truth. I believe that's what they call it. So it's always a reference page for them to check out if there's anything new. And of course, like, you want to show them the right content in the right place. And with those in-app messages, you can also ensure that the content that you're delivering, is timely, it's personalized, and it's contextual to the updates that are actually being seen. So how do you get the most out of it, right? So with user guiding, we provide you with those necessary tools, right? So you can build your in-app campaigns, you can automate your support and measure your engagement, and of course, all of it without like having a single touch of code. Uh, yeah, let's see in the chat here, and we got some nice pull engagement. So we'll break that down in a little bit of like how you can use those user guiding tools for those campaign and marketing, campaigns. Uh, I'll stop the poll here and just share it with everyone. So yeah, people are saying that their biggest goal for this quarter is to gather more insights for Q1, which is very interesting because like data rules, and you need to have insightful and actionable metrics, analytics, and data in order to plan for the next year. You want to drive conversions, and increase engagement for sure, and strengthen the retention. And I don't think this would be like a priority for the final run of the year, but it's very interesting to see these numbers. There we go. All right. Yes, good morning, Gabby, Levant, Maria. Nice to have you. So, how can user guiding actually help you with those in-app campaigns, announcements realistically? All right. So, first off, we have those new sweet banners that we just released. So it's announcements, right? You can have those banners, you can have product updates, and the resource center as well. So these are perfect for highlighting those company news, the feature launches, and any new kind of promotional material that you want to share with the users. Either they're users, or could be customers, could be trials. It's anyone that has access to that platform. And of course, you can fully customize them and make them actionable with CTAs. So you can have like a button that says, see what's new. So this way, when they click on it, you can take them to like another page, read more about the campaign or the updates, or making it more actionable. So you can have like a copy code option as well. So if you have a promo code, when they click on the button, you can also redirect them to like the checkout or the place where they can add that code. So this is really actionable. And most importantly, of course, you can use segmentation to show the right message to those right users. And we'll go through that throughout the demo. Right, and you want to keep them engaged without overwhelming them. So you don't want to bombard them with a lot of like material pop-ups and these things. So keep it very less is more, right? Less is more for these things. Next is support. And I do have a question here as well, a polling question. So if everyone can engage with it, I think it's very interesting to see as well. So I keep hearing a lot of like, you don't want to have, you get either like a lot of support load at the end of the year, or maybe not much, or maybe it doesn't make a difference. But I'm very interested also learning, how does that reflect in your company? So in the last 2 months, or especially in the last month, November is very hectic, but I know in December also you have like Christmas, and you have a lot of people that are on holidays and vacations. It's a kind of time off month. So it depends on the use case of every company. So do you get a lot of support tickets during that time, or not really? Maybe it depends if it's a B2C or a B2B company as well. We'll just keep that running here. So yeah, for support, the AI assistant that we've added is also a game changer. So especially when it comes to like during these like holiday downtimes, if you have, you know, your employees, your colleagues, the support team is on holiday, enjoying their Christmas, you know, they don't want to be online, kind of, you know, helping with some, you know, frequently asked questions from users. So you can automate that. You can give your end users instant answers when your team is offline, and this way your users also, they never feel stuck at any point, you know, during their experience with your platform. So you always ensure that their needs are met, they're getting the answers that they want, and of course all of it is like instantaneous, no coding, and you know, you don't need any human touch um, to provide, you know, and resolve those support tickets. So it's a great way to keep the satisfaction high for your users while your team focuses on like bigger stuff or, you know, enjoying their time off on holidays. Now, right. Next, importantly, of course, is once your campaigns are live and it's time to measure the impact. As you guys said, data is very important, right? You want to get those metrics, you want actionable and, you know, quantitative and qualitative data. So it's time to measure that impact. And the analytics that we provide shows you exactly how users are interacting with the banners, with the guides, with the materials. You can also get some reactions and feedback on the posts, the product updates posts. You can see who saw them, who clicked on it, and who completed them. And within the in-app surveys as well. So let's say after they've completed their purchase, right? Let's say you have a campaign for add-ons and you want your users to maybe, you know, it's an upsell opportunity. You can also time it in a way where after they've either seen the banner or they've added the code and completed that add-on purchase, you can set up a survey or an NPS to get some feedback and quick, you know, just understand what's resonating, what resonated and what didn't. And all this data can help you fine tune, you know, your next campaign for the upcoming years as well. Now, when you combine all of these materials, so you have the in-app notifications, the AI assistant, and the analytics, you get a self-sustaining in-app communication loop. So you announce updates, you help your users instantaneously, and you know, you're able to measure what worked. So it's a simple but powerful system that keeps your users engaged for, you know, anytime you want to implement that campaign. Let me stop the poll here. So it's also very interesting. I didn't think that I would see that, you know, more people get swamped with tickets during those final months of the year, as opposed to seeing a reduction. And 40% mentioned that they don't see much of a difference as opposed to the rest of the year. So I think that would be interesting as well. Awesome. All right. So finally, we get to see it in action. So this is how it looks like in practice, right? So for the next 20 minutes, I'll be showing you how to create various types of interactive announcement tools like banners and Slideouts. And you know, you can create a product updates page or a post. And we do have like a little, I'm not sure a lot of people they know about this feature as well, but when you have a product updates post, you can actually boost it with banners. So I'll show you how to activate that as well. Of course, segmenting is very important because you want to, you know, target those specific users. You want your campaign material to really resonate with that target audience. And of course, while you're having a campaign, you have a goal. So the more precise you are, the more effective it's going to be. And then, of course, you'll be able to track your engagement with the analytics. So, any questions so far? Uh, Anyone that's here with us online, you guys can drop in your questions while we go through the demo. At the end, we'll do, you know, we'll stay a couple of minutes to answer your questions, you know, read your comments and maybe, you know, provide you with any uh, answers to questions that you have. Cool. So far, so good. Nice. All right, we can jump into it. Let me share the screen here. How many people are familiar already with user guiding? All right. If people can like, do like a little hand raise emoji just to get an idea, that would be really interesting because I'll be going through like a lot of the basics just to set up, and then, we can dive deeper into the more details. Awesome. So, awesome, Batuhan. Great. So what you have here is, the dashboard. So when you log into the user guiding panel, what looks for me is going to look very similar to you as well if you have the code installed. Just a quick brief, let's say, to get, numbers and analytics. So for setting up user guiding, of course, you have to complete the installation, right? If you just add the container code, and that's it. Like you can even email it directly to your developer. And once he has that set, then you'll be able to create all the announcements, materials, campaigns that you want. So we can begin with creating a banner. So this is our newest tool that we have here. So you go to engagement, right? And go to banners here, create a new banner. If you're already familiar with user guiding and building the material, this is gonna feel very second nature because all the materials and the tools that we've provided, it's very standard type of procedure where you have your templates here, and then setting up the configurations also looks very similar all throughout the platform. So we do provide you with a couple of templates, right? If you want to choose one that best fits your purpose, you can read more about it here by clicking this takes you to the help article as an example. All right. So you can have a feature announcement. It already selected it. 1 second. All right, feature announcement, trial and upgrade, promotion, maybe a welcoming banner. So these banners, right, you can have them set up from the top or show from the bottom. You can select either or. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Even creating from scratch, because later on you can, still customize it, still change it in the way that you want it to look. So for the sake of this workshop, let's go with, let's promote an event. How about that? Nice. So what we give you here, this is like a live preview of what it would look like. And if you want to see like exactly how much space it would take, it'll look like this, right? So once you have that set, I do have my text in another, in a Notion page. So I'll just copy and paste it here. All right. You can add some emojis. Let's go with like a light bulb. Yes. You can add the buttons. So you can add 2 buttons. The first one can be like a, that call to action where you want them to, you want them to maybe read more about it, register, check it out, all of this. And you can add a secondary. So these are the styles, but you can also add a second, like another button here. So you can choose either or. And yeah, you can also choose like that click action that you want it to be. So for this one, let me go back to that cheat sheet I had. All right, so we'll add 2 buttons. The first one is explore now. And you can, set it to go to a URL, or you can trigger a guide. So by triggering, especially if you have like a new feature or something more actionable inside the platform, creating a guide and linking it to the banner is the most effective way to, get the users to understand what the announcement is and get them to adopt it and learn more about that new feature. You can trigger different types of articles, like sources here. So we can just, click either or, go to URL, right? And you can select it to open in a different tab, or, just open it on the same page. And the same way where this one, right? So you can set that. Right? If you wanted to close the banner, you can set it that way as well. Let's go to the layout. I do have a different theme that I've set. So if you wanted to change the colors, let's see where it is here. All right, this one. Yeah, so you have different tones, different color sets, and you can change the layout. So if you want the banner position to be at the bottom, it's already there with that template that we selected. Or you can have it on top as well. You can keep it sticky on the top of the page or not. Change the alignment. So, right, this is the preview that it would look like. I don't like it that way, so let's go with like, centralizing it for both. So this seems a little bit, easier to read, easier to understand. So we'll keep it this way as well. You can, do lots of different edits, banner placements. You can do it as a push down, so it looks very native to your platform or the page, or you can have it floating. And then in the display options, very simple. You can add like an X button to exit it, or just keep it. You can enable the animation or not. Once you like how it looks, you can save it. Let's check our. All right, we got some emojis going. Nice. All right, yeah. So you would save it, go back, and then do, the standard configurations. So where I want this to show is actually on one of our playground pages. So we have the company's pages here. You can change the banner name first. Let's do it that way. Right, so this is a new feature, adding the URL, right? Audience segmentation. We'll talk more about that, but of course, if your announcement is mostly relevant to a specific type of users that you have, then you can definitely select that specific segments once you've built them. And yeah, I'll show you how to go through that. How you want it to be triggered. So usually, if you want it to just be like a general announcement, you can just have an auto trigger. So this way, whenever that user logs into this URL or visits this page, automatically it's going to display the banner. You have some extra conditions, how often you want it to appear, right? You can set it as always if you want, and you have some more configurations that you can add, or maybe once a session, so you don't bombard them, with it still showing there. You can check those out as well. And one of the most important ones and most relevant to the banner, I believe, is scheduling. So, of course, you have a campaign period. Um, I use this a lot, especially for promoting those webinar promotions. So, on a start to an end date, you would set it, for example, starting from, let's say now, and then ending, let's say after the webinar. You can select where you want it to display. And don't forget to activate, save, and publish. Awesome. Just checking the chat here. And when you want to see it, let's go back to the page. I will refresh here and it should display. Let's see if I've added the correct one. Maybe I'm missing something. Contains. Okay, let's remove this one. There we go. Awesome. So you have your banner displayed. The click actions are active as well. And yeah, and that's how easy it is to create a banner. Yeah, you got the first step ready, and once your users are engaging with it, you get some users that are seeing it, interacting with the buttons. Then under the reports here, you can get some insights. So this is me, right? Seeing it, uh, clicks. Yeah, I did not click on that register now, so you'll get more actionable data here as well. So for the banners, all good? Awesome. If you have any questions, of course, please do drop them. If you want to go into more details with those banners and announcements, we can do that as well. So next, banners is just one of them, right? The next one is more of a built-in using the Chrome extension solution, which is the Slideouts. And the Slideouts, you can find them in the guides. So let's go here. Let's create a new guide. And I have my guide name here. We'll do the exact same promotion for, let me exit this one. Add your URL and do the same theme. So this way the colors and the consistency is the same. And once we confirm, it'll open up the URL that we've added, and it'll activate that Chrome extension. So this way we'll be able to start building the material inside the platform, inside the application, and get to see how it looks like in real time. All good, awesome. Let's remove this one here. So in the same way, we do have different formats, different templates. We have the modals, which are basically just the standard pop-ups, and they're very customizable. You can add different buttons, different call to actions as well. It's very versatile. So you do have some slide outs templates as well. All of these you can change. You can select either one of them, and they're all, equally as usable, of course. And so for this one, we can create from scratch. And once you create one, it'll already implement that image or the theme that you've created. And what we're going to do is we're going to do an announcement, a webinar announcement, the same one that most of you probably already saw from the platform as well. So I'll insert an image. Let's see. All right, we can use this one. Oh, it's a very small one. Hold on. Oh, I had it on the, let's add one here. On the desktop. One second. I'll try to find it. Do another one here. I just don't seem to have any of the pictures right now, but let's give it one more try. Upload a file, look at downloads, and all right, we can use this one. Let me switch back. Okay, perfect. So we have the one that we did for the Portuguese version of this webinar. And what we can do is when you have the right dimensions, it'll fit perfectly. But for this one, we can change the design or the dimensions right in a similar way here. You can remove this. And for the sake of this pop-up, we don't need that requisite button because we will be adding our own, right? You can do it this way. And you want to set the button with the URL of them to go to signing up. Right, so let's say, for example, this is your you can open it in a new tab and track the button click events. And for the text, you can just click on it and paste or type in where you want it to display. And for the padding, you can increase it so this way all of it shows up. Just sign up here. Perfect. So let's maybe make this smaller. Yep. Nice. And where you want it to display, you can select on which side. If you want your users to also be able to interact with the rest of the page and remove the backdrop shadow, you can do that. So let's save. Let's display this on the bottom right and preview. So it'll look something like this. Right, and when your users they log into the page and they'll be able to see this slide out right off the bat. They can click on it and take them to that URL. Now, once you've created that slide out, in the same manner, you'll have it here displayed, and you can set the configurations however you want. So we can do it the same way. Let's say we want it to show up on this page. You already have the guide name here. You can add a little bit more of a description. Set your custom segment, so who you want it to target, how you want it to show. Is it auto, or would it be after them taking an action, scheduling, so on and so forth. So after you have that set, let's go back, save. Oh, we have to miss a second here. All right, there we go. And then you save and publish. There we go. And now the banner is live as well. And if you want to see it, how it would look like, right, you can go back here, open it in the editor, or you can, of course, display it directly. And there we have it. We got the two banners running at the same time. Of course, this bombards the users, and they can be different messages, or you can time them differently as well. So you can make, for example, one of them show up after they've maybe clicked on different pages, maybe 3 or 4. So this way, it'll show up a little bit later and they won't conflict. So now what we've shown you here today so far is how to create banners, how to create slide outs, and now we have the product updates page. So in the product updates page, you go here and you can create your post. So let's create a new post. We have a cover photo, right? And we'll do a banner feature announcement post. I have the content ready as well. So the name of the post will be just announcement, new features, banners. I'll add the title here as well. And the text. So if you have the text ready, you just copy and paste it, format it the way that you'd like. Okay, perfect. And you can save it, right? Once you've created the material, the content, and you get some feedback from the users that have read this update. And this is where you can, add the boosters. So when you have a new product updates page or post, you can select it to show up on the resource center with a different header with some description. You can preview it this way. So if you have a resource center active and ready, it'll look something like this. They'll get the little badge as a notifier. They can have, a call to action button to read more about it. And when they open the resource center, it'll show that integrated product updates. And the same way you can have a slide out as well. So this way you don't have to create different posts or a guide. You can do that. It's a two birds, one stone, something like this. Let's save it. Yeah, then you'll add your URL, page target, and get that set. Let's see the post here. So it'll look something like this. If you have any campaigns, you can have like a tag or a label or updates, announcements, new features. So you can add these tags. So this way you have all the content uniformed. Now, when you also do, let's close the extension here. You can also, when you integrate the product updates with the resource center, it'll look something like this, right? So because we're keen on showing announcements and valuable content to your users inside your platform, we want them to stay inside the platform, to increase the adoption that you have, the retention. So you can integrate the product updates page then the resource center, so this way they'll be able to see, this is the content that we created, and they'll be able to read about it directly from there. So there's a lot of different ways they can, create new updates, announcements for these things. Just checking if we have any questions. Awesome. Now, next, what we have here on the list is, so we created banner, a Slideout, product updates page, and first and foremost, though, we need to understand who you're targeting. So a part of the installation process with user guiding is identifying your users and sending attributes. So when you've installed user guiding, when you've added that code, we still don't have any of your users' information, but of course you do, right? So from your database, you can send over any of those attributes that you have as, let's say labels of your users to user guiding. So this way you'll be able to identify them differently. So some of the pre-configured attributes are like emails, last interactions, first interaction, web sessions, but you can also add lots of different um, attributes, cases. So one of the most common ones is, what type of user are they? Are they a paying customer or a trial user? Are they a basic plan or a professional plan? So once you have an idea of how you want to target, who your target is for those campaigns, then you can easily create segments. So for the sake of this tutorial, we can create a new segment. Let's say anyone whose email contains UserGuiding.com. Right, and we have a display here of almost 1,500 people. So this is our segment. Let's say if I've added, so in the email, you can see them here. And let's say user guiding people randomly. We'll save it as a segment. So let's say this is our target audience for this campaign. And for any of the material that you've created, you can go back to the configurations, right, and select that specific segment. User guiding people or team. You save it, publish, and it will target those people. And the same goes for all the material that you have created with user guiding. Right? It's very similar, looks very much the same. And that's it. So after getting your campaign set up and active, you've set the scheduling, you're seeing a lot of people are interacting with it. You go back to, there's different ways of, seeing the performance of it. So the first one is going, to those specific materials reports that you've created and checking them out here. So you have how many people saw it, how many of them clicked on the button. You can also see a graph here. So this way, if you want to display it on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, you can do so. You can export it. And if you have some integrations, you can also send this data to other places as well. And right here's another kind of graph for the number of click actions that you can get. So this is also very similar to all the other materials, right, for this one as well. Since this is just like a one-step slide, it'll just display one. But in the same manner, you can also see the click actions, who saw it, who didn't, and yeah, see the completion rate as well. Now, just to understand, the full capacity and the full evaluation of that campaign, you can also create goals and impact reports. So for impact reports, you can create some A/B testing just to see, how many of them, what is the impact of that campaign, the percentage, let's say you want to increase conversion rate or upselling. So how many of them saw the display of the banner, for example, and then became, either converted or they upgraded their plan. So you can get that report as well. So for segmenting, let me just check. Nice. You guys can ask any questions that you want, honestly. Anything related to announcements, campaigns, or building material with user guiding, feel free. So we've covered those. And finally, what I wanted to show you is, so announcements and campaigns is just one of the hallmarks of, right, the things that we talked about. But then we also have automated support. So this is where the AI assistant comes in. In the same way that I showed you how to build a product updates post, it's very similar to creating a knowledge base. So over here, we have, let's display the knowledge base. We can actually find, let's see if we can find it here. All right, it's this one. Right, so in the same way, let's say we can create a new article. You can fill it with a lot of information. You can check out the other webinars that we talked about, how to, the best and most effective way to build a knowledge base. But you can add a lot of the information here that is related to any of the questions, how to get started, the first steps, for example, anything that you have as, core functionalities for your users. Create articles, add them in the knowledge base here. And the reason why we're talking about the knowledge base is because when you integrate and implement your AI assistant, this is exactly where it's going to derive its information from. So the key difference between the user guiding AI assistant and the other bots is that we only get the information from the sources that you've added. So it's not, it's not going to come up with its own answers. It's whatever answers that you've added to the knowledge base. Or let's say you don't have a user guiding knowledge base, but you have, for example, a different hosting link for as a knowledge base, like Zendesk, for example. Then you can add that as an external link. Let's say you get frequently asked questions and you just want to add content for like specific details for your AI assistant, you can add them as code snippets. If you have PDF files, you can upload those as well. And you can even add your guides as references. So these could be like a response from the AI bot, with in-app guides for your users. So as an example, let's say like one of the reports here. right? For example, this is displaying a conversation. So how do I create my first workflow? Then it shows them that breakdown of how to do that because it's retrieving that information from the knowledge base and the articles that you've already created. And once you have it active and live, you can see the performance here, and your support team can go on holiday and enjoy their winter break. Or, if they're in the southern hemisphere, then summer break, I guess. Perfect. So this is how you're able to set up no code, self-service support system and announcements, campaigns, banners for that. Yeah, that's pretty much it, everyone. We do have like a couple of more minutes. I'll just chill in the chat here in case anyone has questions. Um, but if you want to learn more about, different use cases, different user guiding tools, how you're able to convert them from just tools into more like actionable use cases, then yeah, let me know. We do have a final poll. Let's start it here. So, how does your team usually communicate end of year campaigns or updates to users? So, would it be through like the traditional, through emails, through newsletters, in-app messages, or banners? Maybe you're already implementing those. Maybe social media announcements. This could be LinkedIn as well, or old school messenger bird. I mean, by messenger bird, it's just hoping people would just see a campaign or see an update. Yeah, I guess like emails is the classic, and newsletters. It's the classic and easy way of getting the campaign out, and especially with AI, it's so much easier now. We do have some that are using the in-app messages and banners. So we do have a question from Baljeet. Bali, right? You guys just started using product updates. Let me add it here. The product updates feature. And you're asking if you're able to segment this to different types of users. Very good question. Uh, I believe for now, it's just one, like, we just provide just one general product updates page that's accessible for all the users. Um, but yeah, as CMI replied to you, or you can kind of manage the access for that. But yeah, would you? Yeah, I think it would be a very interesting case to have product updates and different pages for different users, especially if you have, let's say, multiple platforms. And this is something that we're working on actually. So, like, if you have multiple platforms, um, then of course you would want to have different types of knowledge bases and different types of product updates that is relevant to these different products and platforms. So this is something coming up, I believe. Thanks, Cassandra. Awesome. All right, I think we're good for. We have Tina, Valeria, Daniel, Bali. Good to see you guys. Alex, amazing. Uh, Cassandra mentioned that they use an attribute to segment by role type. Yeah, I mean this is the very very common, and it should be like the most basic one because like you want to understand like who is engaging. Um, but I wonder, question, do you segment in order to understand, the interactions, or do you segment in order to, create material and just target those users, or will it be both? I'll stop the poll here. All right, yeah. So for the announcements, I hope everyone got something to, as a takeaway. You can really merge and incorporate a lot of the user guiding tools together to create, a more cohesive and more effective campaign for your users. And yeah, hopefully everyone has a great rest of the year. We do have, let me add the call to action here as well. So if you can leave any notes on, how you think this webinar went. Did you get something out of it, or is it something that you already know? This is also something important for us to know, to understand. And what other use cases that you want to see for user guiding? How can we bring more value to you? How can we help you implement more product-led growth, more self-service support, um, and make your job easier in the future? Awesome. So Cassandra said, yeah, so in order to target, so they create material and consider the rules. Definitely like top three use cases for sure. Right, segmentation, segmenting based off of user roles. And it's great for both like B2B and B2C SaaS companies, SaaS platforms. Perfect. Wishing everyone a wonderful rest of your week. In 2 weeks, stay tuned. We do have another webinar coming up with one of our user guiding users as well, and they've been using our tool for a while. So it'll be very interesting for you guys to also learn how other um, users, are implementing user guiding for their platform and their use cases. Perfect. All right. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a good one. Bye.